Well, I think everybody understands that Trump is a disruptor. He's popular in significant part because his followers and his supporters see him as a wrecking ball. They don't believe in the current systems. They don't feel they're being served economically and socially by the current, say, social and political and economic systems in the United States, and they just want to kind of tear everything apart. So if he is reelected, given what he said he's going to do, what would that mean, not just for the United States, but for the world? And especially in sort of the polycrisis context, what are the possible connections between economic and climate and geopolitical and demographic systems? How is it going to change migration patterns? How is it going to change economic well-being, trade around the world? Could it increase the risk of nuclear war? So we go through all of these things and look at the connections. And in particular, we try to understand how his re-election could set up vicious cycles, basically self-reinforcing feedback loops, where you get kind of a runaway breakdown of global systems. And we identify 8 of those possible feedback loops relating to economics and global order and the like. He advertises himself as a disruptor. There are a lot of global systems that are quite close, we think, to tipping into a new state, as we see in our polycrisis work. He could accelerate that process.
Yeah. Could you expand a little more on that sort of concept of the loss of guardrails in particular?
Sure. Well, Trump 2.0 will not be like Trump 1.0 if he's reelected. He is going to come into office with a much more detailed, specific plan for what he wants to do. He's going to bring with him much more competent people and surround himself with people who have a particular agenda. And there have been some fundamental changes in the political system too. The Supreme Court's recent immunity ruling. He's liable to change the upper echelons of critical departments like the Department of Justice, the Department of Defense. Basically bring them much closely under his control. Use, for instance, the Department of Justice to prosecute, literally, and persecute his enemies. He's been very clear about this, and we should take him at his word, in part because he tried to do it in Trump 1.0. But the second time around, he's very likely to be much more effective in this regard, and therefore much more disruptive. The institutions of the United States held substantially during his first administration, but they have been weakened progressively by pressures of the radical right wing in the United States, and so it's not clear they'll hold the second time around. America is suffering from some deep systemic issues. Trump is a symptom as much as a cause, and those deep problems have not so far been effectively addressed. So this challenge is going to be around for a while.
Yeah.